Today I'm going to talk a little bit about diet, health, language, and the mind. The mind is the most powerful part of our beings. The mind controls everything. It controls our sight, our hearing, controls our emotions, and our actions. What controls the mind? Language controls the mind. Why do I say this? Because when we perceive anything, words manifest themselves in our mind and attach themselves to the perceptions. If we feel an emotion, there's a word attached to it. If we see a color, there's a word attached to it. It's my guess that this was programmed into us through the school systems that we attended throughout our lives. Now, what does this have to do with diet? Those of us who are health conscious, we pay attention to the things that we consume, that we allow into our bodies. We pay attention to what we breathe, what we drink, and what we eat. We look at ingredients in foods, and we don't want to knowingly consume poisons. i.e., you're not going to find me at a McDonald's drive-thru. The same thing goes for language. I personally found out a year ago that the language that I was thinking in my mind, which is the most powerful part of my being, the language I was thinking was poison. There were parts of it that were poison. The words, some of the words. Matter of fact, over 50% of the words were poison. Over 50% of the words were oxymorons. Why am I telling you this? Because language controls the mind. So if I'm thinking in oxymorons all the time, in other words, I'm thinking words, I think they mean one thing, but they actually mean another, and I don't know it. That's like me consuming a food without first looking at the ingredients. I don't know that I'm taking in poison, but I am indeed taking in poison. The mind controls everything. So if the language that controls your mind is poison, then it's going to have some detrimental short-term and long-term effects. How I found this out was about a year ago. I began studying a construct known as correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. This is a technology that was created by David-Win Miller and Russell-J Gould. And through this technology, I went through all the words that I use and found out that many of the prefixes and suffixes negated the meaning of the root word. For an example, hi, I'd like to befriend you. Now what do you think that means? You and I may think that it means I want to be friends with you, but that's not what it means. Be means no. Friend means friend. So what I'm saying is I don't want to be your friend. You're no friend. To qualify that, all we have to do is look at another word, behead. No head. No head, no friend. There are thousands of examples of this in our language. The point I'm making is that if language controls the mind, and the mind controls everything, and the mind is the most powerful part, and our language that we allow into our minds full of oxymorons, then what does that say to the control that we have over our minds? It means that we don't have much control over it at all. We probably don't have any control over it. What I did personally was I stopped and corrected myself. When I found out my language was poison, I took steps to educate myself and take control of my language so that I have control over my mind and my being, my vessel. Thank you for watching. If you would like more details about what I'm speaking of here, please feel free to contact me at the email address included in the description below this video. I operate in the private and the confidential. Thanks again.